with Dio.
Welcome back. Still hard factor 9013 Nigeria info and here in Port Harcourt. I'm Dio. It's well, just a moment. Oh, that's better. 10 minutes gone past 4 p.m. Conversation continues. Thanks for staying tuned. The matter we'll discuss it next. Let's see. Story cut to the Vanguard newspaper caption: "We can't give Nigeria a brand new constitution." That's according to the Senate. And a bit of that story goes. The Senate said yesterday it cannot give Nigeria a brand new constitution as demanded by some socio-political and cultural organizations in the country, saying the best it could do was to amend the existing one as it was currently doing. Well, several socio-political and cultural organizations have been demanding this. However, yesterday, of course, Deputy Senate President of the Senate and Chairman Committee of the Review of the 1999 Constitution, Senator Obi Omo-Agege, said though the Senate respects the opinions of some persons who want a new constitution, a section of the Constitution does not give the National Assembly the power to produce a brand new constitution. However, he assured Nigerians that the committee would be guided strictly by best legislative practices, highest ethical standards, integrity, open-mindedness, and patriotism. However, he implored everyone, irrespective of political leanings and other affiliations, to abide by the same standards in their contributions. He said, quote, "Now some of our compatriots have urged that rather than amend the constitution, we should make a new constitution altogether. However, we are conducting this exercise in accordance with the extant legal order, which is the 1999 Constitution. Specifically, Section 9 of the Constitution empowers the National Assembly to alter the provisions of the Constitution and prescribes the manner in which it is to be done. Unfortunately, it does not make similar provision or provide mechanism for replacing or rewriting an entirely new Constitution. To embark on any process without prior alteration of Section 9 of the Constitution to provide the modes through which an entirely new Constitution could be made will amount to gross violation of our oath of allegiance to the Constitution." There you have it. Is it even possible at all that Nigeria have a new Constitution, a fresh one? What is the procedure for that in the event that we decide to toe that line? These and other related matters we'll discuss in this hour. And joining me for this conversation is joining me for this conversation at this time is Barrister Ritchard Wokocha. He's an associate professor of public law at the River State University. Barrister Wokocha, good evening to you. Welcome to the show. Barrister Wokocha, good evening. You welcome to the show.
Hello, yes, sorry.
Good evening. You welcome.
I can hear you now, Dayo.
Good evening. You once again. You're welcome.
Oh, thank you, Dayo, and good evening, Nigerians.
Oh, let's get on with the conversation right now. But before that, I'd like to play back comments of the Deputy Senate President himself, Senator Obi Omo-Agege, when he expressed this position even further, that the Senate cannot give Nigerians a brand new constitution at this time. So I'm going to play back what the Deputy Senate President said on the subject matter.
Specifically, Section 9 of the Constitution empowers the National Assembly to alter the provisions of the Constitution and prescribes the manner in which this is to be done. Unfortunately, it does not make similar provision for replacing or rewriting an entirely new Constitution. To embark on any process without prior alteration of Section 9 of the Constitution to provide the mode through which an entirely new Constitution could be written will amount to gross violation of our oath of allegiance to the Constitution.
That's the Deputy Senate President's position, and we're discussing the matter at this time. But first, Barrister, my first question to you is, there's been plenty of talk lately about what is an ongoing review of the Constitution. Public presentations are being made all over the country. I think there's supposed to be a national one at the Senate level very soon. Barrister, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Great. So I was saying that there's been plenty of talk lately as regards an ongoing constitution review process. There are public presentations being made across the various geopolitical zones of the country. There's to be a national public hearing on that at the Senate, I believe, very soon as well. Whilst some are advocating an amendment of that constitution, there are others still who are clamoring for a complete overhaul. In fact, let's just do away with the current constitution and let's introduce a brand new one. I'd like to get your position on this, your personal opinion on this first off. In your estimation, do we need an amendment, or is an amendment okay, or is it a bad idea and what the country needs right now is a brand new constitution?
I think what the country needs is fixing the Constitution. And what is critical is changing the Constitution to what the country wants. So I think that the priority is not whether it is the making of a new Constitution or the changing of necessary parts of the Constitution to give us what we want. Whatever we do now, the people who are acting are no longer the military, it is our elected representatives. So amendments that they legislate into law by the due process is as good as what we are doing by ourselves. My position is that we need to amend necessary parts of the Constitution to give us what we want. All parts of the Constitution are amenable. The process for amending them are provided there clearly in Section 9 of the Constitution. So if we can amend any part to give us the Constitution we think we deserve, why not amend those parts? You can amend all sections one by one if you like. But what is critical is giving us the structure that we require. And I think we can do that. We can also achieve that by an amendment. So for me, it is not necessary that it must be a new constitution.
For the proponents of a new constitution, their biggest argument, I suppose, is that the constitution had no input of the people, and by that it wasn't a democratically produced election. They cite the section of the constitution that states "we the people" and insist that the people had nothing to do with it. Rather, it was a document that was simply prepared by a military regime and handed over to Nigerians. Is there any substance to that argument in your estimation?
The point is that we elected representatives, constitutional representatives to a constitutional conference. The core argument is that a large number of persons who were conferees in that conference were appointed by government. I agree. The other point is that the government has too much power. The military government has too much power. They were free to alter any part of what the conference came up with before eventually passing the end product into law. I agree. But now we are in charge, and our representatives, our elected constitutional representatives in the National Assembly are there. So if we can get those things we want that we think should have been there that are not there, put in through amendment process, If we can get those things you think we are smuggled in by the military that should not be there, if we can get them removed through amendment process, why do you need to convoke a fresh conference? I think we miss the point if we stick to the procedure and forget the substance. What is key to us and what will save this country from where it's sliding to now is amending the constitutional order into a form that is suitable for a federation. We can still achieve that by amending the laws. By amending the constitution. So I think we should focus on the substance and not the procedure. What was done in 1999 has been done and is gone. We can't go back to 1999. So let's focus on removing the things that shouldn't have been there and putting the things that should have been there, or rearranging it the way we think it should have been. That can be done under amendment. So let's do it.
There's also the argument.
About procedure.
There's also the argument that representation, and you mentioned representation. Representation is key to these amendments. Representation in Nigeria right now is skewed in favor of the North. The North has more local government areas. The North has more constituencies than most, if not all, other parts of the country, for that matter, and so produces the largest number of representation compared to any other part of the country. By virtue of sections, relevant sections of the Constitution, primed to majorly determine, since they have the highest number of representation, and we're going by votes here, they are more likely going to be, they are key in determining, key policies, especially when it comes to constitutional matters. So even if attempts are made at amending the Constitution, if sections of the North, so a large section of the North, is not pleased with recommended amendments, especially if it's intended to take away what benefit or advantage they may seem to have, then it is unlikely that those amendments, especially that have to do with certain, seeming injustices or inequities and all of that, those amendments may not see the light of day because of the composition of the 1999 Constitution.
But I think that the fear of whether or not we will be able to push through what we are clamoring for is a different question from the question whether we can, through the process, get that done. I think that legislative business it's a matter of lobbying and dealing. And if people know sufficiently what is in the proposal for them, it's likely to win them over. But I agree with you completely that we have a very stupid, sorry, we are on air, but I consider it stupid when arguments are based on where I come from and not on whether or not what is being considered is reasonable. It becomes unreasonable, and if it's unreasonable, it qualifies for me for stupidity. So we have that lame way of reasoning that the North must take this position on an issue, and the South must take the other position on an issue. Yes, if it comes down to that, the process is going to be deadlocked. But we are not there yet. And I think that if parties, by that I mean representatives, and groups, interested groups, if they do sufficient lobbying, both in the North and in the South, there are cleavages, sufficient divisions now through which you can advance the cause of the argument. And it's not quite as it used to be. I believe that where we have reached now, the nation is no longer in that geopolitical scenario where you have a block action from one side. So it will be the usual deal in legislation of lobbying.
Right, talking about Senator Omoege's comment, he said that the National Assembly cannot produce a brand new constitution for Nigerians now because of Section 9 of the Constitution. I'd like to read Section 9 right now. Subsection 1 goes, the National Assembly may, subject to the provision of this section, alter any of the provisions of this Constitution subsection 2 goes, an act of the National Assembly for the alteration of this Constitution, not being an act to which Section 8 of this Constitution applies, shall not be passed in either House of the National Assembly unless the proposal is supported by the votes of not less than 2/3 majority of all the members of that House and approved by resolution of the Houses of Assembly of not less than 2/3 of all the states. 3. An act of the National Assembly for the purpose of altering the provisions of this section, Section 8 or Chapter 4 of this Constitution shall not be passed by either House of the National Assembly unless the proposal is approved by the vote of not less than 4/5 majority of all the members of each House and also approved by resolution of the House of Assembly of not less than 2/3 of all states. 4. For the purposes of Section 8 of this Constitution and of subsections 2 and 3 of this section, the number of members of each House of the National Assembly shall, notwithstanding any vacancy, be deemed to be the number of members specified in sections 48 and 49 of this Constitution. So when Senator Omwagege says that Section 9 of the Constitution prohibits them from creating a new Constitution, and I just read Section 9 right now, what exactly does he mean?
Well, he means that Section 9 permits them to amend, but it does not give them a power to write a new constitution. And another critical thing he was pointing out is with respect to, I think that's Section 2, which talks about the requirement for amending Section 9, Section 8, Section 9, and Chapter 4 of the Constitution. That requires 4/5 majority of both chambers of the National Assembly. So he is saying if you want them to have the power to write a new constitution, you need to amend the constitutional provision on amendment of the constitution by adding the power to write a constitution. And to do that, that section needs to be amended. So he was saying you need to lobby your representatives to support this so that they will be able to have 4/5 majority to amend that Section 9 and include the power to write the constitution or write a constitution. Because as current now, Section 9 provides only for amendment of any section of the constitution and not the power to write a new constitution. So that's the point he was making there.
Where did the military derive the powers for, that enable them write the 1999 Constitution?
Constitution is always a constituent activity. That's why it's not a legislative activity, especially in every country. It's a constitution. It constitutes an entity into legal existence. It brings a nation into existence. And so when the nation has come into existence like a newborn baby, you can only talk of its development and amendment to suit developments affecting its growth, and not having it born again. You can only you have a person born again in spiritual context and not in physical context. So the Constitution does not provide for a rewriting of the Constitution. It's not that it's impossible, but most constitutions of the world will always provide for amendment, not for the writing of the Constitution. So, because that is the character of the Constitution, you don't even expect to see a provision talking of rewriting. Now, the military was able to do what they did, not by themselves. If you recall, they only passed a decree bringing a constituent assembly's activity into effect. They convoked a constitutional conference, which is a constituent assembly, where constituent peoples of the Federal Republic of Nigeria drafted, only used the legislative decree by the Supreme Military Council to bring that product of the people into effect. They did not by themselves sit down and draft a law for us like a decree. The character of a constitution makes it something beyond the activity of a legislature. It's always a product of a constituent activity.
So if it's beyond the legislature, then why can't we just, the Nigerian state has had different constitutions before the 1999 one. We had the 1963 constitution, we had the 1979 constitution. Nigeria as a country did not cease to exist before the 1979 constitution came on board. The Nigerian state was still existing, And if I were to tour your argument, I would say it just needs to be developed and can be born again. However, even though it was not born again, we had a new constitution in 1979. The Nigerian state did not cease to exist, and yet we had a new constitution in 1999 also. So must the Nigerian state cease to exist before we can say, you know what, we need to have a new constitution even at this time?
In each of those cases, we reviewed our constitution. And to do a review, you still need the makers of the constitution. The constitution can only be made by its makers, that is the people, the constituent people. That is why we had constitutional conference in each of those cases. What you had was like a review, and then you find a section in the legislative instrument by which it came into effect that we say that this substitutes the other existing one. So what you had was like a review.
So whose responsibility is it?
Legislative instrument, you substitute the existing one for that one.
So whose responsibility is it to set up this constituent assembly?
Now, if we also want to have a constituent assembly now, it will have to be a legal activity. For this to be a legal activity, the National Assembly may have to legally constitute a constituent assembly or make a law for that purpose, which will give legal effect to the outcome of that proceeding. So yes, we can. If we want to do so, we can, through our legislature, convoke a constituent assembly.
Okay, Barrister, we'll go for a break now. When I return, in the event that we told the path of having a brand new constitution, I would like for you to explain in some detail what those processes and steps are. I imagine there are not more than one that we could take to creating a brand new constitution when we return from the break. Please stay with us. Hard Facts. We'll be right back in a bit.
Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817-001-8162. That is 0817-001-8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817-001-8162. That is 0817-001-8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817-001-8162. That is 0817-001-8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817-001-8162. That is 0817-001-8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817-001-8162. That is 0817-001-8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001 8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001 8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001 8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001 8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001 8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001 8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001 8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise.
Hard Facts. Hard Facts with Diode.
Welcome back to Hard Factor 91.3 Nigeria Info and here in Port Harcourt. I'm Dio. Conversation continues. Thanks for staying tuned. 22 to go before 5 p.m. We can't give Nigeria a brand new constitution. That's the Senate say that. And more precisely, Deputy Senate President, Senator Ovie Omoagege. Let's hear his position once again.
Specifically, Section 9 of the Constitution empowers the National Assembly to alter the provisions of the Constitution and prescribes the manner in which this is to be done. Unfortunately, it does not make similar provision for replacing or rewriting an entirely new constitution. To embark on any process without prior alteration of Section 9 of the Constitution to provide the mode through which an entirely new constitution could be written will amount to gross violation of our oath of allegiance.
Is it even possible for us to have a new constitution considering our current democratic process and the Constitution, or the component of the Constitution as it currently is. Well, my guest once again is joining me in the studio now, Barrister Ritchard Wokocha. Barrister, you're welcome again.
Thank you, Dayo.
On the question before the break, or the issue I raised, if we were to have a new constitution, I imagine that there's more than one step to actualizing that. As briefly as possible, what are these steps?
Well, for amending any section of the Constitution, apart from Section 8, which deals with boundary adjustment, state creation, and local government creation, Section 9, which deals with the procedure for amending the Constitution, and Chapter 4, which deals with the fundamental rights of citizens. Amending any section of the Constitution outside these ones, what is required is that the House, the houses of the National Assembly, each House of the National Assembly can begin the process and pass whatever is the constitutional proposal, our amendment proposal, by a 2/3 majority. And the second House will also pass by 2/3 majority. When this is achieved, then they must move the process to the House of Assemblies of the States of Nigeria. 2/3 of the 36 houses must approve or agree with the amendment before it comes back to the National Assembly, where it will again be passed by a 2/3 majority of the two chambers of the National Assembly, whereafter it can go for for assent by the President, or for assent, yes, assent by the President. But where you want to amend Chapter 4, Section 9, which deals with amendment of the Constitution, and Section 8, which deals with state and local government creation and boundary adjustment, then you require 4/5. It's the same procedure, the same institutions, the National Assembly, House of Assembly of the states, 2/3 of them, and the presidential assent. But what is required there is 4/5. And you know that getting 4/5 majority of the House is a Herculean task, and that's why he said, if you want them to be able to give you a new constitution, go and lobby or go and talk to your representative, so that collectively they will be able to achieve 4/5. To amend Section 9 to include the power to write a new constitution.
So if the National Assembly is unable to amend that part of the Constitution, the relevant sections you mentioned, Section 9
yes.
particularly,
yes,
we cannot have a new constitution in Nigeria.
They cannot give you a new constitution. They cannot legitimately give you a new constitution.
Who is they?
That is the National Assembly.
But you said a new constitution is not legislative.
A constitution is always a product of the people. But where you have a nation in existence, it is legislated into, that is the review, or the new product, is legislated into existence, because you already have the body of laws of the country. So for it to have legal effect, it has to be brought into the laws of the country, and that has to be by the legislative process. That's why the military, when they convene the people, or when they convene the people in constituent assemblies to come up with a constitution, they issue a decree which brings it into effect. That decree makes it law, makes the annexure to that decree, the schedule to that decree, which is the new constitution. It makes it the constitution of the country. So where you don't have a constitution, the people can, by referendum, bring it into effect. Their representatives can, by majority decision, bring it into effect, any of those processes. But where there is an existing country and an existing legislative process, it has to be legislated into effect.
So can someone in the National Assembly initiate the process, because it said that amendments must start within? So
yes.
Even for a new constitution, that process, can it begin from within the National Assembly as well?
Yes, that new constitution, which requires amendment of Section 9,
yes,
has to start from the House, because even if it starts from outside, it has to find a mouthpiece in the House to present it, because the process can only begin in the National Assembly.
One then wonders why nobody in the National Assembly has given it voice yet.
Maybe because they feel, perhaps reading his mind, they feel 4/5 is not a minor thing to achieve. They have enough problem achieving to 3/4, even 2/3 for impeachment and all that, not to talk of 4/5, which is a much larger number. So they've not adverted their mind to it.
But even in your opinion, just amending the Constitution is good enough?
In my opinion, amending the constitution is good enough. I told you a few things about the hiccups we are having. We didn't have these problems until the military turned the constitutional order of the nation into a unitary command, which is the normal thing for military. The military enjoys a vertical unitary command where the CAC gives an order and it trickles down to the end. So they simply did that by moving legislative items on which the various democratic constituent units of the federation could legislate on. They moved it to the center. So if, for instance, you just do an amendment doing only one or two things, including moving those items back to concurrent list where they are available for states to also legislate on, you have automatically removed more than 70% of the problem with the Nigerian constitution. Because those problems only came into existence when we unfederated our federation. So if you do a single amendment and refederate the federation, those problems disappear.
At this juncture, we'll get your take right now. Lines are open 0817-923-0002 or 0003 or 0007. We're live on facebook.com/NigeriaInfoPH, Twitter at NigeriaInfoPH, and WhatsApp's on 0809 0306416. I'm not impressed. This is via WhatsApp. I'm not impressed when most callers say lobby the National Assembly members from the North to get the needed amendments. The people you are to lobby already have vested interest, so no major changes will take place in Antonio. I think I asked her about that earlier on. You did express your
about the challenge of lobbying. Yes,
absolutely. But we're going to the third lines in a moment. But once again, remember you can join the conversation via facebook.com/NigeriaInfoPH. But I think still with WhatsApp for now. Good day, Prof. I believe those demanding a new constitution know, as divided as we are today, we can't agree anything from a constituent assembly. I'm, however, happy APC people are resisting instead of demanding the new constitution, because by now, conspiracy theorists would say President Buhari is scheming for third term as the new constitution erases past presidential terms. However, should the new constitution be indeed proposed, they should include a proviso where they would say the 2 terms limits of a governor or president means any 2 terms held since independence in 1960. We have amended the constitution before. Let's go down that route again and make provision for referendum and what topic can be subjected to a plebiscite. That's text from Oibo. Also via WhatsApp. Hello, Barrister. What if Section 9 is amended for the content to allow for a new constitution? Can't both exercises be done simultaneously? That's from MacPaul.
Both capacity to do both exercises will be in existence, and matters for amendment can be amended through the amendment process. But it simply means, when you make that amendment, it simply means where people are clamoring for a new constitution the way we are doing now, our National Assembly can go into it. But can the National Assembly even solve the problem? Because that point was raised here, that we have vested interests and they represent vested interests. So even if you amend that section and leave it to the National Assembly, can we really get what we want? For then it will become an action that they can carry out, and we come in by way of a public hearing. Or if they say they legislate to create a constituent assembly where they can bring our people together, then we will discuss. And just as the last message you read said, our constituent representatives will still go there with vested interest. What happened to the last constitutional conference? What did we achieve? How much difference did we achieve? So even that does not also guarantee a complete solution. I think we are better off focusing on the issues and getting the real issues to get amended.
We've got Fatai from Obiako on the line. Fatai, welcome. Go ahead. Let's go on. Hello. Hello. Hello, how to welcome. Go ahead, please.
Yes, my name is Jerry.
Henry, you're welcome. Go on.
All right. With my personal opinion, I don't see this constitution as a problem of this country. What I see that the problem in this country is corruption. How are we going to stamp out the corruption from the country? In the constitutions, people who are using the constitutions are not following what is in the constitution. They are doing whatever they like. It's not issue of constitutions. If you like, change the constitution tomorrow. Next tomorrow you change. Next month you change. I believe it's going to be the same if people don't stamp out corruption in their life. So this country, I have seen everywhere is corrupt. So it's not the issue of a constitution, it's the problem of leadership. That's my little opinion. Thank you.
Welcome, Henry. So, Barrister, it does pose a huge dilemma here then. Because like you said, even if we successfully amend Section 9, even if we successfully go through the entire process and begin the process of a new constitution, we still require these representatives to go there to vote in favor of certain things or vote against certain things.
Or those we will elect in our constituencies, who will still go with vested interests.
Precisely. So what is the way forward then? Because a lot of Nigerians believe that the problem with this country are sections of the constitution. How then can we possibly get out of this situation?
I think I am convinced that even the amendment process is good enough, and that it may be easier to make fundamental changes by that process, because the Constitution did not say there is a particular section that cannot be changed, apart from fundamental rights, boundary adjustments, and state creation, local government creation, and amendment process. So the core areas where we are talking about, the areas we are having a problem with, are not these areas. If we veer a bit off the law, we have been talking all along about how we can legitimately do something and not do. If we veer a bit off the law into social politics, it may be easier now to achieve majority than under the other arrangement. With the challenges the country is facing now, you do not have the South en bloc. But it's easier to have that because we have more that we agree on than the things we do not agree on. You do not also have the North en bloc. In fact, the heat of the activities that are agitating the country now is occurring more within the middle area of the country. And it is more likely for them to form alliance or for them to reach agreement with those holding the views in the South, which, if implemented, will guarantee their own safety. It's easier to win them to support a view now that is popular in the South than the other arrangement we are looking at, where they will be represented by institutionally elected or selected persons who will come with vested interests.
I'm not sure if we can get for Ty now. Let's go on again. Iberi from Barr, you're welcome. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, all.
Go ahead, please. Straight to your comment.
I want to know the input of lawyers in general into the Constitution, because I believe they know every problem that is emanating from the Constitution that is hindering the justice system from working. So what are they really doing to make sure that the Constitution will work? Even if they will write the new one, what is their input?
It'd be great to hear from you. What is the role of lawyers?
Well, the role of lawyers is the role of market women and Nigerian Medical Association and every other association. They are just an association, a voluntary association, a member team. That shouldn't be the case. In a serious country where constitution is to be debated, if we didn't have our vested interests and our challenges, Constituent Assembly will be an assemblage of the constituent peoples, ethnic nationalities in Nigeria. We sit together to discuss. And I have always proposed that. Back them up with a team from Nigerian Bar Association, which is a team of lawyers who are experts in draftsmanship or law drafting and law interpretation. Bring in a team from the Political Science Association of Nigeria and bring the peoples of Nigeria together to discuss. And they will be able to come up with something that will better stand the test of time and solve our problem.
How can something like this be convened?
It's a question of the instrument by which it's convened. Because
do we need an amendment to the law as well for that?
No, it doesn't require an amendment. What it means is that if you are calling a constituent assembly, you are determining the area of representation instead of state-by-state representation and things like that. You are determining that representation should be by, for instance, ethnicity. And then
Can I take the form of a national conference or survey national conference?
Yeah, no, you can't do that without a national conference. So if you are calling a national conference, it means you are selecting representative conferees to that conference. You are limiting it to ethnic representatives and not the present governmental order of state and local government and so on and so forth, or regional arrangement.
Well, Barrister, we have come to the end of as much time that we can take, and by extension, the end of this conversation. Many thanks for your time. My guest is Barrister Ritchard Wokocha, former NBA Chairman, Assoc Branch, Associate Professor of Public Law, River State University. Thanks for your time.
Always our duty, Dayo.
And thanks for joining in. Commercial break. We got the news update at 5 p.m., after which we'll return, and Governor Wike has drawn the battle line, it seems, with Justin in the state. Please stay with us.